In this video, you may be forced to help scientists unearth the location of Cleopatra's tomb. You'll also help uncover what became of the Ark of the Covenant. Lastly, you'll see why the underwater cairn remains a hard nut for scientists to crack. You'll find these and more if you stay tuned to this channel. A pit full of hands. In the fall of 2011, archaeologists working in the palace of ancient Avaris, Egypt, found the remains of 16 human hands in 4 graves. The team said that the hands date back as far as 3,600 years ago. They were abnormally long and larger than normal. Scientists believe it was the actual Hyksos complex since they were classified into 4 different graves. Experts explain that the hands support the initial stories found in the writings and art of ancient Egypt, where soldiers cut off the right hands of their enemies to be rewarded with gold in return. The ceremony was often sacred, as it was done in a temple as part of a ritual. There's been no concrete evidence detailing the kind of people that own the hands. Egyptians call on their gods to punish their invaders with famine, misfortune, or plagues. It's possible that these sacrifices were part of the curse against the invading armies. Stone spheres in Costa Rica. The giant stones in Costa Rica date back as far as 600 AD. These monuments were the work of pre-Columbian civilizations. Most of them were made from gabbro, a rock that forms from the molten magma. It's believed that the boulders carved the perfect spherical shapes using other small stones. Experts and non-experts say that these spheres may have been used for astrological purposes. Others who disagree say they were used to point the way to significant places. No one has discovered the truth about these stones, as it would remain a historical mystery. After the Spanish conquest, the Chibchan people vanished from Costa Rica. Therefore, it's difficult to get a real account of the stones and their uses. Cleopatra's tomb. Cleopatra VII ruled Egypt between 305 and 30 BC.
You will kneel
I will what?
on your knees.
Much is said about her beauty, intelligence, and her romantic relationship between Mark Antony and Julius Caesar. Despite all that's known about her, her burial place is shrouded in mystery. Cleopatra and Antony committed suicide after their former ally Octavian defeated them in battle. The lovers were buried together at a site described by Plutarch as lofty and beautiful. He claimed that the burial place was located near a temple of the Egyptian goddess Isis. To this day, no one has been able to trace their grave. The only explanation for this is that the grave may have been looted, as grave robbery was commonplace in ancient times. The Lost City of Atlantis. If you're watching this, the chances are that you've heard of the Lost City of Atlantis. If we're able to go by the accounts of many people, part of the city has been seen in the Greek islands, Japan, and even Cuba. It was first described by the ancient Greek historian Plato in 360 BC as a mythical island with great naval power. After a catastrophic event, it sank into the sea more than 10,000 years ago. Archaeologists still debate its actual existence and its possible location. Even though they've found many sunken ruins, they've not traced them to Atlantis. Even without definitive proof, Atlantis continues to engage the imagination of scientists and has heightened suspicions among experts. Ancient animal traps. The low stone wall crisscrossing in the deserts of Jordan, Egypt, and Israel have puzzled scientists since the 20th century. The chain of lines measures up to 40 miles long and is nicknamed kites by scientists. They date as far back as 300 BC, but have been abandoned since then. Even though these traps remain a mystery, recent revelations showed that kites were created to funnel wild animals towards a small pit where they would be easily killed in large numbers. This system suggests that the local hunters understood the behavior of local fauna more than we initially thought. Shroud of Turin. There's probably no archaeological discovery debated as much as the Shroud of Turin. It's believed to be the burial site of Jesus Christ. The long piece of twill has traces of blood and the darkened imprint of a man's body. The Catholic Church recognized the shroud in AD 1353, when the cloth showed up in a church in Lille, France. According to a legend, it was transported from Judea to Edessa, Turkey, and later to Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. When Crusaders sacked the city in AD 1204, the cloth was removed to Athens, where it was held until AD 1225. Researchers got a hold of the cloth in the 1980s and alleged that it was the burial cloth of Jesus Christ. Others say it's nothing but a medieval forgery. King Tut's death. The mysterious mummy of the Egyptian boy pharaoh Tutankhamun is one of the most mysterious findings scientists struggle to analyze. It was first discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, a British Egyptiologist. There are tales of the pharaoh's curse hovering around the grave. It's believed that the curse kills anyone who comes close to the tomb. While this was one of the stories peddled at the time, more stories make the king's death even more interesting. Scientists believe that the boy king died unexpectedly from an infection sustained from an accident. After his body was mummified and his tomb sealed, he caught fire. Experts say his body was coated in flammable embalming oils, explaining the reaction that ignited his corpse. A hurriedly arranged burial could be the reason for the botched embalming job. The Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant is a gold-encrusted wooden chest containing stone tablets of the Ten Commandments.
The lost ark.
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant, the chest the Hebrews used to carry around the Ten Commandments.
In ancient times, the box was stored in the First Temple, a Jewish place of worship located in Jerusalem. However, this temple was destroyed in 587 BC by a Babylonian army headed by King Nebuchadnezzar II. No one knows what became of the Ark, and since its disappearance, many curious people have gone looking for it. So far, no one has found the holy relic. Reports say the Ark has made its way to Babylon after Nebuchadnezzar sacked the city. Others say it was buried somewhere in Jerusalem and was destroyed with the First Temple. Modern reports say it could be hidden in a monastery in Ethiopia. To make matters worse, a recently translated Hebrew ancient text suggests that the Ark of the Covenant would only reveal itself on the day the Messiah would come. The Hobbits. Some scientific discoveries are so strange and more complicated than fiction. For instance, in 2003, some hobbits were discovered on the remote island of Indonesia of Flores. Although scientists didn't see it alive, they stumbled upon a real-world version of the Shire and the bones of the tiny ancient hominin species they called the Hobbit. The first of the species was found around 3.5 feet tall and belonged to an adult female. At first, scientists believed that the miniature bones belonged to a human with a microcephaly, a condition characterized by short stature and a small head. After similar skeletons were found, they realized they were from tiny humans belonging to their species. Noah's Ark. Some stories in the Bible are so exciting that you would wish to visit the sites where they happened and see things for yourself. The story of Noah's Ark paints an exciting picture in the mind of every Christian. Many people have reportedly seen this biblical boat, but were unsure how true the claims are. For centuries, amateur archaeologists globally made us believe that they found evidence of the Ark on Mount Ararat in Turkey. According to the book of Genesis, it was at this point that the boat came to rest. However, researchers think that Noah's Ark was never built. Like Atlantis, it's an archaeological mystery that continues to be unraveled even though it may not exist. The Big Circles. Of all the ancient structures in Jordan, the big circles in Jordan remain one of the most disturbing mysteries of all time. Some of these circles date back to 2,000 years ago. This revelation has left scientists scratching their heads. Also called big circles, about 11 of these structures have been spotted so far in Jordan. The circles measure about 1,312 feet in diameter and are a few feet high. None of the short-walled circles have openings for animals or people to walk through. Therefore, it's unlikely that they're ancient examples of livestock corrals. It then begs the question as to what they were used for. Researchers compare these circles with other circular stone structures in the Middle East to uncover their mysterious purpose. Underwater cairn. In 2003, scientists in Israel discovered a huge stone structure beneath the Sea of Galilee. The monument had many giant stones on top of each other. It weighed almost 60,000 tons and rises above 32 feet. The researchers who found this underwater rock pile are confused by its use. In other parts of the world, cairns are used to mark burials. There were also other rock structures nearby, even though they were not underwater. It's possible that rising sea levels submerged what used to be a land-based cairn. Researchers at Ben Gurion University believe that the marine monument dates back to more than 4,000 years. It could also be the remains of some fortified settlement. Until next time, adios.